Okay, so in the further in the study of the birthday party, we will very briefly look at the key points or highlights of the article written by who are the writers of this article?
Harriet dear and Irving dear.
Harriet and
Irving
Irving Deer.
dear.
Yeah. And what is the title of the article?
The Pinters, the birthday party, the film
Hmm.
and the play.
Yes. Pinter's uh, the birthday party,
The film and the play.
the film, and the play. Yeah. Okay. So, as we have seen earlier, that how to study film and what is this difference between stage and film. A few remarks about all those things are also given in this article. So that makes this article very interesting. And apart from that, it also helps us in what we are supposed to watch in the film. As you know now that absurd theater, even the performance or the cinematic version is not that engrossing. It is not engrossing. It is very dull watching. It is very academic watching. You can do an academic, but you can't enjoy yourself as we watch in another one where we curiously watch things happening in a beautiful melodramatic way. Now those things don't take place in this place, so it is very tough. So minutely, when we do academic watching or academic screening of these films, at that time, key highlights, what are to be observed, how those things which we are observing in this play or cinema or film can be used in another reading. When we do other readings, how all these things can be helpful to us. If that happens, our study is successful. So whatever we do today or as a part of our syllabus, how far it is useful to us in looking at other things also. So sometimes you can replicate this kind of articles. This kind of articles you can just imitate by changing text, by changing film. But many of those languages you can use still. Many of the words, languages you can use. And you can make another beautiful writing out of that. Initial phase, it sounds to be a copy, but no need to worry about it because in copying also we are learning. We are learning, things are going inside us. So when we start thinking in a unique way, in a Maulic way, and completely different way, at that time, all these things help us. So initial training of looking at the things in a better way is necessary. Otherwise, our things may be unique, but it will not be so important. It will be insignificant, trivial kinds of uniqueness only it remains. So people should learn that you should have some models to imitate, some way of looking. What are those ways? And then we have to escape from those things. પહેલા એ જોઈએ, પછી તમે એનાથી મુક્ત થઈ જાવ તો ચાલે. But initially we require that. So last time when we asked you to do the review of post-colonial films, and we gave you a couple of readings also, that how to review, what are the important aspects to be reviewed. So if you have read those things and try to do, then it has become your integral part. So whenever you will sit down to write about films, automatically that will come. Automatically that will tell, that will knock and tell that, well, write about us. Write about what about us? Have you observed us? Those technical elements in the film or not? So they'll start knocking and they will tell that, well, I should see these aspects also. So that is why that reading also was important. And looking at the film study or the literary adaptations into cinema. By and large, our work is literary adaptations. So what is that literary original text? That always remains at the center also. When we try to look at the adaptations, what was there and what is here, and how things are changing when from pages to screen. Pages to screen, things are changing there. So this article by Harriet and Irving Deer is very well written to observe some of the simple aspects of reading the film and the play here. Okay, so have you got the article? Are you able to open and read?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Yes, so let me share the screen also. So in case you some of you who cannot do the parallel reading, you can watch it here also. Okay. I think the fonts will be visible. Yeah, Pinter's The Birthday Party, the film, and the play. Yeah. Yes. So who will tell me if you have read anything in the first paragraph? In the initial paragraph, it tries to say that this idea that Pinter wrote both. Pinter wrote both the film and the play. Unlike some playwrights who write film adaptations of their own work with little knowledge of film medium. See, little without a, it means no. It's not થોડુંક પણ નહીં, સહેજ પણ નહીં. A હોય little પેલા તો જ થોડુંક. So it is with no knowledge of film medium. Yeah. So those who don't know what is film or media, this medium, then they make a very poor adaptation. So that's why the problem that critics have raised against Midnight's Children. Salman Rushdie is writing where it's not a good film. It fails to capture everything. Novel is far better. Novel is far better in context of that also. He is an accomplished writer in both drama and film, but Pinter was aware about this medium, and he was aware that what can be done, what changes are required from play to film. A comparison of the film and play version of this, therefore, affords us a new opportunity to gain insight into how a reconception of a play into film may affect the dramatic experience it communicates. And so what is important? Dramatic experience, and how that dramatic experience, which I enjoy when things are on stage, and how that gets reconstructed when I watch. So screen, stage, how that differs. That is, perhaps Pinter is well aware about those things there. Aside from the addition, there are a couple of additions also. Additions. The outdoor shootings are all additions. In a play, there are no outdoor. We know that there is closed, narrow space. Yeah, but in a film, there are outdoor shooting also. There are initial beginning. There is an outdoor shooting. So addition, addition of an outdoor framing action and absence of two short scenes with Lulu. Two short scenes with Lulu are absent. The changes in the film have to do essentially not with the sequence of events or the dialogues, events, yes, dialogues, and the sequence also is almost similar, except for outdoor shooting, which is absent in the play, Lulu's scenes absent in the film. Yeah. So apart from that, all these things are almost similar. These are similar. But what is important, apart from looking at whether events are okay, dialogues are okay or not, what is important to observe here is that the way Pinter treats the texture of the play, the texture of the play. So what do you mean by texture of the play? What do you mean by the texture of the play? Yes? Anybody?
May I say some?
Yes.
As it is written here, the sounds and sights of a world without structure.
Yes, the sounds and sights.
Yeah.
Sounds
a
and
kind
sights.
Of world. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds and sights that the play, the stage wanted to convey. The basic, and that is comedy of menace. That is Pinterest. There is silence, the pose, the torrent of language, all those things that we were talking about earlier in language and symbols and other things. All those things makes for a particular texture, which we call it Pinterest, or we call it comedy of menace. That all is being captured well in the film. Okay, I'm skipping the part. If you can just let me know anything interesting if you want to say from this. Very quick reading. Let us very quickly move on. Car driving through a seaside town early in the morning. The shots are taken from the point of view of the driver, suggesting that the point of view of driver. So scenes are taken as if so if you put a camera over a driving seat. There is a camera there, and then so it means that you are showing us the point of view of driver. So wherever there is a camera, that point of view becomes. So reading camera as a point of view, camera becomes point of view. So wherever the camera is, we are looking at the things from that point of view. If it is very much up in the sky, at the top of the building, bottom down, from down to up, we are seeing whatever it is. But camera has to be seen as point of view, and then we can interpret. So here it tries to say the interpretation is here that driver suggesting that what is important is where the car is going. So that is what they are reading. Dears are reading that maybe you are looking from driver's point of view, not from passenger's point of view here, or any other things. But here it is like it seems to suggest. Now see, this is interpretation. Other people can say that, well, it suggests this, it suggests that, but you have to tell what does it suggest. Suggest that what is important is where the car is going. The sequence is unsettling. Many shots are there. Mirror, we will see the shots, so will become more clear. Fenders of the car are shown. Clicking, grating noises are there in the initial part. Set of shots ends not at the lower class home where the action is to occur, but with very long shots of two men. This car sequence, પછી એ shot ક્યાં પૂરો થાય છે, અથવા how one shot ends or transfers or fades into another, into another scene, another shot. So people do the study of shots, close-up shot, long shot, continuous sequence of the shot. This film 1917, 1917 is a very acclaimed film, a war drama. 1917 only, I think, the war film. In this film, there is one very long sequence. So when you observe that, as if the cameraman might have run for a couple of kilometers continuously without a break, without any break. So you go on behind the people walking, then you go forward, then you go backward. But if you observe that what camera is doing, that camera is doing rigorous work, and there is no break, there is no cut. There is, if you are to use the same word, then without cut, the action continues quite long. And know this. So this scenes, they use a specific word for that. I forgot that word. That is what they call, and this film was appreciated for that technique of.
Is
Yes.
it called montage?
Montage, but not only montage.
It is called montage, I think.
No, montage. Apart from that, there is this continuous shooting of the thing, that how it keeps on taking a very long shot without any cut. The camera moves on. So, well, variety of ways that camera operates, and the shots are taken. This, that. So here it transfers from there into a seashore, a bench, a chair attendant is there, deserted beach. That is, we know that it must be a PT. Then breakfast scene comes there. Okay? So breakfast, and then the kitchen and other things. So when you see kitchen, you also will see that the kitchen is very untidy. Very untidy. Lot of things are dropping out, and Meg is keeping things very shabbily. Very shabbily kept things are there in the kitchen. So you will find that, well, obviously when you are doing a close-up, when you are showing a sink, and then there are utensils, they are lying there, and if it is a focus, then it is very important. Very important. Now, when you see stage and the play, you can never see what is in the sink of kitchen. You will never be able to see. આ નાટક જોતા હોય તો sink કેવું છે અથવા table કેવું વેરણ છરણ છે એ તમને દૂરથી ન દેખાય ક્યારે. You can't see that. But in film it is possible, because camera can help you in showing a particular thing. And Pinter was aware that this can be done. So if you want to show shabbiness of Meg, then you can do close up, and you can see how she is keeping her kitchen, how those things. And then when she takes cornflakes, then cornflakes are spilling out, dropping out of the dish. And his cooking also is like when she's making sandwiches, it's very oily, very burnt kind of things are there. So that is the shabbiness of Meg that gets reflected into this. So those all are the things that how this close-ups help. What stage in stage there are no close-ups, not possible to do that, but you can utilize that in this. Okay, then
Sir, it is called long take.
long take, no? Long take. Okay, yeah.
Long take, sir.
Okay, long take. Yeah, it's long take. Okay, so in the film, however, the sense of the sense of emptiness and menace comes primarily from the way the camera records and magnifies the trivia and sloth of Meg's world rather than from the dialogue between Meg and PT. It's a very interesting difference. In a play, in a stage when Meg and PT do dialogue, then we come to know about what? Texture of the play, sense of emptiness and menace. Sense of emptiness and menace, that comes from there. Whereas here it is camera doing everything. Here camera. So if you are performing, then it is actor's role to capture the sense. કલાકારે કરવું પડે. પણ ફિલ્મ હોય તો એ કેમેરા કરશે. એટલે કેમેરા કેટલું બધું કામ કરે. એટલે ક્યારેક કલાકાર નબળા હોય તોય કેમેરા એને છુપાવી દે. કેમેરા એને છુપાવી દે. આપણે પોપ્યુલર ફિલ્મમાં આપણે જે સોપ ઓપેરાસ જોયું તેમાં એક દ્રશ્યમાં આમ ધડીમ 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 3 વખતે આવે. ટીંગ 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 એક જ દ્રશ્ય. Now, why this technique? આ ટેકનિક એ વારંવાર શું કામ ઉપયોગ કરે? લાઉડ મ્યુઝિક આવી જાય અને એક જ દ્રશ્ય એ વારંવાર, કારણ કે કલાકારો એના ચહેરાના હાવભાવ બદલી શકતા નથી. The actors are not able to change the facial expressions in that way. So camera is doing that. એ આપણને એકદમ ઝટકા સાથે બધું બતાવીને જોવા નથી દેતા. ક્યારેક કોઈ કલાકાર બરાબર રડી ન શકે તો પછી એ પાછળ ફરીને રડતું હોય અથવા માથું નીચે કરીને રડતું હોય એવા દ્રશ્યો બતાવે. કે તો રડે છે, પણ નહીતર જો રડતા આવડતું હોય તો ક્લોઝઅપમાં ચહેરો આવે કે કેમ રડે છે, એની આંખો રડતી હોય, એના ચહેરાના હાવભાવ, પણ એ ન રડી શકે તો પછી તમારે છુપાવવું પડે. ડિરેક્ટર એને છુપાવે કે આ તો હાસ્યાસ્પદ થાય છે. સો દેન એટલે ક્યારેક ફિલ્મ જોતા હોય ત્યારે કોઈ વ્યક્તિ મોઢું છુપાવે કોઈ ઇમોશન્સ ને દર્શાવવા માટે, ત્યારે સમજવું કે એ કાચો પડે છે, એ કલાકાર કાચો પડે છે કે એ નથી બતાવી શકતો. નાટકમાં આવું બધું છુપાઈ જાય, કારણ નાટકમાં તમે બારીકાઈથી જોઈ ન શકો, બહુ દૂર હોય લોકો, એટલે આખું બોડી કામ કરતું હોય છે, આખું અંગ એ બોલતું, એકલા ચહેરાથી ન વાત થાય તો પણ ચાલે, કારણ કે નોબડી કેન સી ધ ફેશિયલ એક્સપ્રેશન સો નિયરલી. બોલી નાખો મોટા અવાજ એટલે શબ્દોમાં ભાવ આવે તો લોકો એ પહોંચી શકે, પણ ફિલ્મમાં તો ક્લોઝઅપ આવશે, તો ઇટ્સ અ ડિફરન્ટ. સો કેમેરા પ્લેઝ અ વેરી વાઇટલ રોલ એન્ડ ધીસ વેરી ઇન્ટરેસ્ટિંગ વે ઓફ ઓબ્ઝર્વિંગ સ્ટેજ એન્ડ સિનેમા. કેટલું જુદું પડે. That itself is a very good topic, and many things can be read into that. And this article is helping. Extreme close-up, Meg soppily pouring cornflake in a bowl, spilling half of them onto a filthy newspaper, picking them up. Okay, so this all we have seen this. Okay. It is Pinter's purpose in both the play and the film to magnify trivia. So this is that how the triviality of life, that also becomes something significant for the postmodern to question about the things, the trivial of the things which we do not concentrate upon, but it also has its own symbolic way of speaking or saying several things there. Imagine, for example, can we think that anybody can write any story or on this, what we call it as soch kriya or socialay, the anxiety of not having socialay? Imagine, can anybody write a play? Now there is a film already, full-fledged film called Toilet Ek Prem Katha. Imagine Toilet Ek Prem. Now this episode is so trivial as such. Toilet Ek Prem Katha, and there is there. But even before this film, there were stories written by Mahendra Singh Parmar. There are written short stories, Polytechnic on this, and there is that imagination that there are women folk living in a poor locality, and they go for kudrati hajat, nature's call, what we call it, in a compound behind a college or a building, and that was their routine. Night time that they have to go, it was not there, so they have to wait for the night, and then night they can go for that. And then there is suddenly a decision to make a wall around that, and then they resist the idea. They have to go and tell to collector and other thing that don't make a wall here. And our resistance કેવું તો કે અમે દિવાલમાં બાકોરો પાડી દેશું અને બાકોરો પાડી દેશું કારણ કે એને પેલી બાજુ રામ સભા કરવા જવાનું હોય છે. He used the word રામ સભા. મહેન્દ્રસિંહ પરમાર used the word. આજે કદાચ કોઈને એ રીતે લાગે તો એમ પણ કે આ તો અમારી ધાર્મિક લાગણી હતાહત થઈ ગઈ છે આમાં, આવું તમે ન લઈ શકો ને કહી શકો ને આ તમારે ભૂંસવું પડે. People can question now. પણ ઘણા વર્ષો પહેલા એમણે તે વાર્તા લખેલી. પછી બીજો ભાગ પણ એમણે કરેલો. So both stories, if you're not read, you can read. But see, this trivial things becomes the subject matter also. And something that is a kind of a taboo or something that is bad. This writer, who is this? Ismat Chigtai and then Manto. Manto's one story is Boo, bad smell, Boo. So and then there is a court case. આ પ્રકારે કઈ લખાતું હશે કે તમે તો સમાજમાં ગંદકી ફેલાવો છો, તમારી આ બુ વાર્તા સમાજમાં બુ ફેલાવે છે. You should not write. તો Manto told in that ચલો એવું હોય તો હું એક પરફ્યુમ નામની વાર્તા લખી નાખું. જો સમાજમાં સુગંધ ફેલાઈ જતી હોય મારી વાર્તાથી તો ચલો એક ખુશ્બુદાર પરફ્યુમ એવી વાર્તા હું લખી નાખું અને સમાજને ખુશ્બુદાર કરી દઉં છું. મારી વાર્તાથી બુ ફેલાઈ જતી હોય. The thing is that બુ ઓલરેડી છે સમાજમાં ગંદકી છે. લેખક તો ખાલી એ તરફ દ્રષ્ટિપાત કરે છે, એનો કેમેરા ત્યાં જાય છે, એનું ફોકસ ત્યાં જાય છે કે these are the things there. તમે કહો છો કે તમે ગંદકી ફેલાવો છો, ના ગંદકીઓ છે ઓલરેડી, તમે નથી જોતા એની સામે, તમે નજરઅંદાજ કરો છો, તમે શાહમૃગ વૃત્તિ રાખો છો, તમે મેઘ અને પીટી જેવા બનવા જાઓ છો. મેઘની જેમ you want to remain into enjoyment of birthday parties. You don't want to see that so many people are in prison. Those things you don't want to see. So then he says, Manto ke boo ke chalo હું સુગંધીદાર વાર્તા લખી નાખું સમાજમાં સુગંધ ફેલાઈ જતી હોય તો. Or this trivia kind of તુચ્છ જેવી લાગતી બાબતો અને એ વસ્તુ કહેવા માટે તમારે તુચ્છતાનો ઉપયોગ, કોર્નફ્લેક્સ ને કેક અને બધું બગડી રહ્યું છે, ફેલાઈ રહ્યું છે, ઢોળાઈ રહ્યું છે, એના ઉપર ફોકસ you do that. Okay, even sounds seem threatening. Sound also is used. Not only do we see get loud noise as Meg ineptly rattles and scraps breakfast. So, okay, visual impressions in the film support this meaning, surreal quality. Visual are there. At one point, for example, the camera takes a close-up of Stanley washing his face in the dirty kitchen sink. At one is taking a close-up of Stanley's washing his face in dirty kitchen sink. The dirt and the grubby soap and the greasy pans, like the loud sounds, become discrete objects, menacing in their visual intensity. So even soap, the dirty sink, everything becomes menacing. All this object, trivial kind of a thing. Dirty soap. Now imagine, તમે આપણે નાનકડું શૂટિંગ કરતા હોય તો કેટલું બધું ધ્યાન રાખીએ કે બધું એકદમ ચોખ્ખું હોય આજુબાજુમાં, કઈ મેલું કપડું પણ રહી ન જાય. આપણું નાનકડું મેલું કપડું હોય તો એ સાઈડમાં કરી દઈએ, બધી વસ્તુ ગોઠવીને પછી આપણે વિડીયો શૂટિંગ શરૂ કરીએ નાનકડી પડવા. Because now you all are doing video shooting, so you know કે આપણે કેટલું ધ્યાન રાખીએ. તો એમાં ફિલ્મ મેકર તો નવો સાબુ મૂકી શકે, સરસ મજાનો લક્સનો ડવનો સાબુ એ તો મૂકી જ શકે, તો પણ એ મેલો સાબુ મૂકે છે. Is deliberately putting a kind of a very grubby soap. It means it is very important symbol. It is something that he wants. In stage you can't do that difference. You can't. અહીંયા સ્ટેજમાં હોય તો તમારે બોલવું પડે, તમારે એમ બોલવું, કોઈક સાબુ જોઈને આમ કહેતું હોય નાટક કરતા કરતા કે આ કેમ મેલો સાબુ છે, પછી ભલે હાથમાં મોબાઈલ હોય, સાબુ ન જ હોય. કલાકાર ત્યાં કરે ત્યાં ભૂલમાં સાબુ ન મળ્યો હોય તો એ તો કઈ મોબાઈલ પકડીને કે આ મેલો સાબુ કોણ, કારણ કે એ ક્યાં કોઈને દેખાવાનું છે. દૂર દૂર યશવંતરાય નાટ્યગૃહમાં છેલ્લી પાર્ટીમાં બેઠેલા લોકોને હાથમાં મોબાઈલ છે કે સાબુ એ દેખાવાનો જ નથી, એટલે એ બોલશે. It will be verbal. But in film, close up. ફિલ્મમાં ક્લોઝ અપ, કેમેરો કામ કરશે, એમાં કોઈ હાથમાં લેવાની જરૂર નથી. A very interesting way it changes. So when you show this, so Pinter was aware કે screenplay is all this thing. Screenplay એટલે ફક્ત ડાયલોગ લખવાય નહીં. Screenplay means કે ક્યારે ક્લોઝ અપ થશે, ક્યારે લોંગ શોટ થશે, that's all you are writing. You are telling lots of guidance to the director and cameraman also. That is writing screenplay for everything. Okay, so that is the to be seen net effect of Pinter's magnificent trivia in the film is to create a greater sympathy for Stanley in the film viewer than in the theater audience. Yeah, so this also is good observation. When you watch a film, you have a sympathy for Stanley, whereas that is not happening in the stage. In the stage, that was not the case. Okay, so I skip some of the paragraphs. More ominous threat posed by McCann, and that also is a good scene. You can see here that the ominous camera angles, camera angles. એટલે camera angle થી એક ડરનો ભાવ ઉભો થાય છે, એક અમંગલ થવાની આકાંક્ષા, ominous thing, અમંગલ થવાનું છે, એ ઇફેક્ટ કેમેરાના એંગલ થી ઉત્પન્ન થાય છે. Okay, so that we will see when we'll talk about this camera angle, how they are moving and how it gives about the texture, menacing effect. Another thing is coming out of this. Okay. Close-ups and this. Okay, fine. Menacing. The menace that terrifies the film viewer, however, is created by film techniques which go far beyond merely magnifying the menacing characters. We can see this particularly in the birthday party sequence. So birthday party sequence is very important, where this cinematic techniques are used. Birthday party is part 2, as act 2. In act 2, their cinematic techniques become very important. From the very high shots are also taken there. Before the party, in which we see the room as a cage, in which Stanley paces like a trapped animal through to the game of blind man's buff. So in the party where they are playing blind man's buff, at that time, a couple of times the camera goes up, and as if like it is a cage. It is a cage, and in that cage, Stanley is a trapped animal, that way. Now again, see this. In stage, it is not. For stage, you have to show the flat scene. Flat scene. You can't show from the top, from this side or that side. Angles, everything is not possible in the stage. There is a flat way of looking at the stage. Cinema, all those possibilities are opening up. Which angle, from where, top, bottom, everything. And that is utilized also. That is beautifully utilized here. That makes this very interesting. Camera not only identifies with Stanley as he tries to avoid Meg and watches in helpless terror as McCann lurches towards him, knocking over the furniture that gets between him and Stanley. It also gives animus to the common objects, which entangle Stanley as he staggers blindfolded about the room, moving unevenly from close-up to extreme close-up on such trivia as chair and table legs, Stanley's shoes and toy drum. The camera gives us more than a sense of the threat they suddenly pose to the blindfolded Stanley. And so camera gives us the sense of threat. It creates the sense that these objects are actively moving against Stanley, not simply lurking in wait for him. Beyond that, the violent lurching of the camera gives us both Stanley's experience and a wider, more objective view of him, identification and objectivity at once. So chairs, tables, as if they all are animated, and they all are also encroaching towards Stanley, as if they also want to engulf Stanley. So that now it seems to be very surreal when I say, but in film it happens realistically. It is not like really chairs are moving and things happen there, but it seems to be the camera tries to give that effect, as if they are. Camera becomes a chair, camera becomes a table, and it seems like they all are encroaching. So the sense it creates in a similar way. Blackout. The scene of blackout in this play also is used in a better way. Light comes on. Stanley discovered raping Lulu. It is this revelation of a public, tangible act of guilt which drives Stanley to final madness and disgusts the audience. Okay, treatment of this. Okay, blackouts, another thing. Okay, I'm skipping this part. You can read, but it's very interesting paragraph. Okay? What we can more clearly see clearly in this film than in the play, what we can see more clearly in the film than in the play is the desperation of Stanley's struggle to give meaningful shape to the reality of his situation. This is very important line here. The more desperate, Stanley here is more desperate and his struggle is more desperate to give meaningful shape to the reality of his situation. Now, see, this is again very interesting. Like, what is the reality of his situation? We are told by Ned Goldberg and McCann that he murdered his wife and he did something wrong with mother and he was this and he was a traitor and this. But well, he keeps on struggling that, well, I want to say, but there is no voice. He's not able to articulate. So we feel the struggle that he tries to give meaningful shape to the reality of his situation. He wants to convince Meg also that, well, you don't understand these people. But Meg is in a different mood. So that well, they are good people. They behave in a decent way. There is a sense of chivalry in Not Goldberg, that how to talk with women, he is aware about it. So that all Meg looks at these things in a much different way. That this Ned Goldberg is such a good speaker. કેટલું સરસ બોલતા આવડે છે કે આટલું સરસ બોલનારો વ્યક્તિ હોય તો પેલો પેલો શર્મા ખોટો હશે, શર્મા ખોટું બોલતો હશે કે સાહેબ તો કેટલું સરસ બોલે છે, નેટ ગોલ્ડબર્ગ તો કેટલું સરસ બોલે છે. So this all, so Stanley's side remains. It becomes very struggling for him to speak that. Sounds, characters, okay. So this, ironically, the Stanley we see at the end, clean shaven and well dressed for the first time, looking much more than ever the gentleman in control of his own destiny, is less able than ever to seek that control. He is a creature capable at best of a few grunts, essentially an object, empty, without human identity, meaning or will, without human identity, meaning or will, a man in appearance only. So last, when he comes well dressed, clean shaven, it seems like now he is in controlling position. Earlier he was shabbily looking, so he was out of self-control. Now he's no, but it is not so. It is not what is visible. It is deceiving. His looks are deceiving. Stanley's looks are here deceiving, but he is more broken now. He is just a creature, the creature who can only grunt, cannot utter any word. Yeah? He is a mere object, empty, without any human identity, meaning or will. A man in appearance only. Is no more now a human being. Forget about whether he's artist or not. Whether he's artist or not, forget that, but he's not even a human being now. He has become the whimpering creature we saw him reduced to at his birthday party. A whimpering creature, where in his birthday party is reduced to that. If this is in some sense a rebirth, it is clearly not an occasion of celebration. જો આ એમની નવ જાગૃતિ છે, આ એમનો રેનેસા છે, આ એક બદલતા યુગનો પહેલો અધ્યાય છે. નવા યુગ બદલ રहा है, દેશ બદલ रहा है. જો આ એનો નવો સૂર્યોદય છે, તો this is not the occasion for celebration. This is not the occasion for celebration. If this is the new day which is changing or we are waiting for. The final exterior sequence added to the film makes this feeling explicit and extends it into society at large. Stanley is being taken away by McCann and Goldberg in the same black car we saw entering the town at the beginning of the film. This time, however, all the chaotic visual and sound impressions are absent. Instead, through the windshield of the car, we see near rows of houses and streets. What stands out is the pattern, rigid, neat, but most of all empty. Not a sign of life anywhere. Not a sign of life anywhere. McCann and Goldberg, like the bogeyman, Stanley taunted Meg with have order and peace in the world and other things, depriving it of any of its vitality of life. Pinter's shift from an emphasis on people in the play to an emphasis on things in the film is at the least a reconception of the play's conflict, which takes into account film's capacity to make objects volitional. So things also become very important in the film. In the play, it is not so, but things plays a very vital role in what it tells us or what it suggests us, moving towards dehumanization. When things become important, when things also start speaking or uttering, then we are moving into the word of dehumanization. So that is also we can read into this play, a world of terror, moving towards dehumanization, a world of terror. Given such a world, it is inevitable both that Stanley succumbs to the terror, and that the world at large is seen as emptied of humankind. Yeah? Emptied of humankind. The world completely empty of that. It is to Pinter's credit as a film artist that he can exploit the capacities of this medium to dramatize that inevitability. So that is what becomes very interesting, and he's able to do that. The film is able to achieve some of those things being dehumanized, world of terror, absence of, empty of humankind, that world which he is trying to visualize, that was there in the play, and that idea is able to capture in the film also there. So this is a very interesting reading of both the comparing and reading of this film. Very interesting review. So it is giving a new meaning altogether. This review helps us in reading a play with a deeper significance. It helps us. That is what is very important, that the critics, when they review the work of art, it gives a new insight also. It gives a kind of a new insight in looking at the same work of art also. So it is not only what it is, but it gives at least something, at least one perspective, which seems to be very novel in looking at those things there. So this article makes the entire film very interesting or very enriching also. Okay, any questions if anybody has from this? Many lines we have missed out. So in case you have read something and if you want to ask from this article before we start watching the screening of this film, if you have any question here from this article. Yes, anybody? Okay, so then I hope it is quite understood. Okay.
Yes, sir.